Hey, welcome to a very special episode of More Sales Every Single Day Like Clockwork. My name is John Mullery, and you are all very welcome. Ganesh, you are welcome from India. We have Isabella Muller from Germany. You are very welcome. We have my man David, as always super welcome. You are all very welcome to tonight's show. Let me know if you haven't already where you are coming from. Let me know in the comments where you're coming from and who you serve, what you do, and we will kick things off. We have a special show tonight, and it's special because, of course, we're going to have some insanely, crazily good training. And Todd is going to be bringing you through how to craft headlines, how to write headlines that garner attention, that grab your prospects by their throat in the best way possible and get them to pay attention to your marketing message. And obviously, your headline is one of the most crucial components of any marketing campaign. And when I say headline, I don't just mean headline in terms of headline on a sales page. I mean in terms of the first thing that someone sees when they're engaging with your campaign. It can be the make or break campaign, and there's ways to write headlines effectively and there's ways to do them ineffectively. And tonight, Todd is going to be bringing you through his framework for crafting headlines that just convert like crazy. And we have Jason here again from Tampa. You are very welcome, Jason. Everybody who's tuning in here, you are all in for a treat because something very, very special arrived today in my household. It is none other than the proof copy of the E5 method. And you can already see my fingers are all over it because I've been going through this big thing with a fine-tooth comb. This is the hardbook version, 348 pages of absolutely incredible money-making information, client acquisition growth information, customer acquisition information, and transformational information that can just completely blow the doors off your business. I'm super excited. I got both the hardback version with me and the paperback version as a proof copy because I wanted to go through everything, and we are getting so close to launching this bad boy and so close to getting it out in the world and getting in the hands of many people, and I am so excited. And as I'm sure you will agree, it is just absolutely stunning. And this isn't some paper tin leaf magnet, this isn't some leaflet book, this is an actual hit someone over the head and knock them out book. It is absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to get it out into the marketplace. Todd's brain is basically, we plugged Todd's brain into a framework, and we've just downloaded Todd's brain and we've put it into 348 pages, and it's just going to be absolutely epic. And like I said, I cannot wait to get it out to the marketplace. So you are the first person, aside from me and aside from Jess and Sam the dog, of course, to actually see this before anybody else. And it's going to be incredible, and I literally am so excited. I've been working on the campaign for it, working on our own E5 campaign for this whole thing, working on the whole part of the process, the funnel, and it is going to be so exciting, and I'm really excited to get it launched. We should be launching in the next couple of, well, maybe days, depends on how many all-nighters I pulled. But anyways, let's dive into the main part of the training. Like I mentioned, today is all about one thing and one thing alone: headlines. Getting the attention of your prospects, getting the attention in the best way possible of your prospects. And Martin, I do see your question, when can it be purchased? Don't worry, we will be letting people know when it can be purchased very soon. It should be roundabout, all going well, possibly we should be doing a pre-order campaign next week, if all goes to plan, and hopefully it will. So yeah, I mean, it's the book itself, I personally believe the book itself could go down to be one of the most significant marketing and advertising books to be released over the last few years. I mean, there's lots of really amazing books out there. There's lots of really transformational information out there in relation to business, in relation to growth, in relation to advertising and marketing. But I truly believe that this is the missing piece. This is the missing piece for so many people. Todd's way of building out campaigns is just so unique. It's just so different, and it's just so relevant to so many different audiences. I mean, we have 45 plus countries, 65 plus niches, all using the E5 method, and it's just crazy powerful. And I don't want to keep talking about the book all night because it is so good. So it will be due for release, hopefully for pre-order in the next week or so, all going well. And just wait till you see what we've got for you. I mean, we're not just giving you the book. I mean, we're pulling out all the stops in terms of really stacking the value in your favor, and that's all well and good. So, but for today's show, it's all about one thing and one thing only: crafting headlines that get attention, crafting headlines in the best way possible, in a non-hypey, non-gimmicky way, but in a way that just garners attention in the best way possible. That's what we're going to be covering tonight, so let's dive in. So like I said, my name is John Mullery, and you are very welcome. And don't worry, I'm not going to mention the book again. I promise I won't mention the E5 method book again. I promise. I'm just so excited by it. It's unbelievable. And today we're talking about Headlines, headlines, headlines. How to craft headlines. The things you need to be looking out for when putting together your headline. What a bad headline is, or an ineffective is probably a better word to use. An ineffective headline versus a headline that just works like crazy. Todd is going to bring you through the process from start to finish, and then at the end of it, if there's any questions or anything you need some clarity on, and David, you're giving me some ideas for some big ideas with some of the comments you're posted there, by the way. But if there's any questions or comments afterwards on Todd's headline training, we can dive into some Q&A. So with that being said, let's jump over to Todd and let him bring you through his headline formula that just works like crazy.
In this video training, we're going to talk about crafting your compelling headline. One of the most important elements of any marketing campaign, really the part of the marketing campaign that is responsible for stopping your prospects dead in their tracks and getting them to engage with your campaign. Now, for context, within this video lesson, when we talk about your headline, we're talking about what we're going to be using at the top of your lead capture page, and it will also be used at the top of the VSL page. You're going to have the same headline on the lead capture page that you do on the top of the video sales letter page. Now, it's important for you to understand, recognize that the headline is really the hook for your marketing campaign. It's the thing that your prospects use to decide whether they want to engage with your campaign or not. It's why some folks say that the headline is responsible for 80% of whether a prospect reads or engages with your marketing campaign. Regardless of what it's responsible for, I want you to view your headline as the hook for your marketing campaign. In essence, the advertisement for your marketing campaign. And to really sum up what it is that we do with the headline communicates the reason why your audience, the reason why prospects should care about your message. What's the reason why they should care? What's the reason why they should be interested? And it gives them some sort of reason to engage now, meaning it demonstrates a level of urgency or a level of timeliness. It makes them feel like this is something that they need to look at, they need to consume, they need to engage with right now. So again, something that your audience cares about, and it gives them a reason to engage now. Now, two of the most valuable, most powerful elements to be used within a headline, really two of the most valuable elements to be used in all of marketing, are benefit and curiosity. We always try as often as we possibly can to leverage both curiosity in a headline to tease, to open a gap in the mind of the prospect, to make the prospect say or feel, what's that about? Or, I want to hear more, or what is this referring to? So we're leveraging curiosity. And of course, as you now know, we're always leveraging benefit. We're always communicating the result, the outcome, the transformation that the prospect can experience by engaging with the marketing. We're always communicating with the prospect what's in it for them. And when you combine that what's in it for them element with an element of curiosity, where they need to read on or watch on or listen on to get the full picture, you've got the makings of a very powerful headline, a very powerful marketing message. Now, when it comes to putting together your headline, I'm going to show you some examples, some frameworks that you can use to get started. But regardless of what framework or what headline approach you use, it's important for you to understand that your headline should be able to stand on its own. It should be immediately understandable for your prospect, and it should not require your prospect to have to read on or watch on to understand what's being communicated. Meaning that a lot of marketers, a lot of entrepreneurs, they'll get kind of cute and creative with their headline, and they'll say certain things in their headline that the prospect has to read on to understand, meaning the marketer will say, hey, once they get to the fourth paragraph, they'll understand what I'm saying in the headline. Well, it doesn't work that way, because a confused prospect will not continue to be engaged. A confused prospect will not buy. So your headline must be understandable on its own. The prospect should not have to read on or watch on in order to understand what it is that you're saying. And a great way to think about this is, can your headline pass the classified ad test? Classified ad test is if you ran your headline as a classified ad with a call to action, so just the headline and then something like go to www dot, your domain, would it be enough to generate response? Or would the headline not be complete? Would the headline be too cute or creative? Can it stand on its own if you ran it as a classified ad with just a call to action, your headline and just a call to action? If the answer is no, then you've got to give you've got to flesh it out and you've got to give a complete headline. If the answer is yes, then okay, you're off to a good start. Now, with that being said, let me quickly show you some very basic kind of starter headline styles. These are kind of templates, if you will, that you can use to spur some thought to what your headline can or should be. So the most basic kind of go-to headline is the how to X. And that X is a benefit. How to grow bigger tomatoes. How to lose 2 pounds every week for the next 50 weeks. How to meet the mate of your dreams. Very, very simple, very straightforward, and kind of, when in doubt, the fallback option. And you've got a variation of that, which is the how to X, how to benefit without negative. How to lose 2 pounds a week without dieting or exercise, right? And so it's how to experience the good without the bad. And then, of course, we've got the typical number, right? 7 ways to lose 2 pounds a week, 7 ways to get more website traffic, 6 ways to grow bigger tomatoes. It's an interesting thing to see the response to headlines and subject lines even that contain numbers and start with numbers. They tend to generate really good response, and that's why you see a lot of magazines, especially online, using numbers in their blog titles, their article titles, and so on. Get rid of X, get rid of negative, get rid of bugs on your lawn, get rid of rodents in your attic, get rid of an extra 3 pounds a week, get rid of all credit card debt in under 60 days. Who else wants to benefit? Who else wants to get in the best shape of their life? Who else wants to sock away an extra $250,000 a year? Who else wants to benefit? Thousands now have a gorgeous smile. Thousands now have a second vacation home. Thousands now are with the mate of their dreams. Thousands now have launched a new career as singers. Have, get, own, any one of those, a benefit that you can be proud of. Own a home that you can be proud of, right? Have a lawn that you can be proud of. Very, very simple, straightforward. Give me X minutes and I'll show you how to benefit. Give me 60 minutes and I'll show you how to get the car of your dreams. Very, very simple. The lazy prospect's way to this could be the lazy husband's way to a gorgeous lawn, the lazy housewife's way to prepare a magnificent dinner. Do you make these X mistakes? Do you make these X English mistakes? Do you make these grammar mistakes? Do you make these resume mistakes? Next one, do you recognize the X early warning signs do you recognize the 5 early warning signs of arthritis? Do you recognize the 4 warning signs of a computer virus, of a security breach? Very, very simple, very straightforward. See how you can easily benefit. You don't need blank to benefit. This might be, you don't need coding experience to have your own website. You don't need an increase in your pay to get out of debt. You don't need to lose any weight to meet the mate of your of your dreams. And so these are just some of the basic headline styles. You can probably go to Google and just search headline templates, fill in the blank headlines for examples like this. These are very basic, and these are great starter tools for you to use to begin thinking about your own headline. You'll notice that the majority of these focus on benefit, sometimes benefit without negative, but if you look at these, you could see benefit, 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 benefit. Remember that what your prospects are interested in is the benefit, is the benefits, is the payoff. And in this context, when we're putting together your headline, what you're looking for is the biggest benefit, the best benefit in your prospect's eyes, the most exciting benefit that they can experience with your product or service. That's the one that you want to lead with. Now, another tip for headlines, which comes from John Caples, legendary advertising copywriter, is that you can begin your headline with any of these. So how to, why housewives are now, cooking or serving magnificent dinner in under 5 minutes, which, who else, wanted, this, because, if, advice, introducing, announcing, new, now, at last. These last handful, like new and now and at last and announcing and introducing, these are all leveraging the fact that what people want is new, right? Announcing. It could be announcing how to blah, 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 or at last, how any housewife can lose blah, 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 weight in 16 days or whatever it may be. And so that's what these are all. These are leveraging this desire for new. And so, like I said, this bad boy is the kind of the fallback, the go-to, the one that when in doubt can often be used effectively. But these are some of the words that you can use to begin your headline. The last bullet over here is address your headline to a specific person or group. And what John Caples is talking about here is this idea of calling out to your audience. So if you are talking to teenage boys, for example, about whatever, high school athletics or something like that, you may start off by saying, attention teenage boys, how to make your school varsity team without even trying out, right? And so you're calling out to your audience. You're letting them know that this is specifically for you. And so another tip from John Caples. Now, when it comes time to write your headline, what I'd like you to do, or what I recommend you do, is write out as many headlines as you possibly can. And while you're writing out as many headlines, letting it flow, kind of a brain dump, write without editing. Don't try to improve the headlines that you're writing or making a note on a Word doc. Just let it flow. Don't worry about whether they're good or bad. No judgment. This is a brain dump. We can go back later and edit and clean up and mix different headlines together. But when you're writing out headlines, initially you want to just let it flow. You don't want to go back and forth, right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain. You just want to let that creativity flow. And so write out as many headlines as you can without editing as you go. You might write out 10, 20, 30, 40. You might write out 8. You might write out 15. Don't worry about what the total number is. Just exhaust getting out as many different headline variations without editing as you possibly can. And then go back and go through, and you'll start to trim the list down to maybe 2 or 3 headlines that you feel most excited about, that you believe, based on what it is that you know about the marketplace, about prospects from your web analysis, which we talked about in an earlier training lesson, that, right, these 2 or 3 headlines could be most effective. Well, once you've selected the 2 or 3, then you want to choose one. And don't worry about, it's not about at this point whether you are right or wrong in your choice. It's about choosing a headline to move forward with. Choose one of those 2 to 3 that you narrowed it down to. Now, once you've chosen that one, Then you're going to use the process of scoring that headline and improving that headline with the 4U's. This comes right from the American Writers and Artists Institute. I was first exposed to this by my buddy and mentor, Mark Ford. And here's how it works. You're going to take that one headline, and you can use this process for any headline, for headlines that you write in the future, even for things like subject lines. It's a very effective, very simple tool for you to get started. We're going to look at your headline through the lens of the 4U's, which I'm going to show you in a second, and we're going to assign a point of 1 for each of the U's that your headline contains. So the first U is useful. Is the headline useful? Useful, is it communicating something useful? Does it convey that there is something useful for the prospect that is being shared? Number 2, is it unique? Right? Are you presenting a unique story, a unique perspective, a unique solution, a unique approach, a unique methodology, a unique mechanism? Is this unique, or are you presenting a solution that your prospect could see on any other competitive website? Then we've got ultra specific. And this is really about, are you making vague general claims? Or is your information specific? Are you giving specific details, specific numbers? Is the message, the picture that you are painting, is it concrete? Because in marketing, specifics sell, vague generalities do not. And then finally, is it urgent? Meaning, is it timely? Is it conveying that there is a reason for them to engage, them being your prospects, for them to engage now? Is there an aspect of your headline that is conveying that there's a payoff that's coming soon, a fast payoff? Is there a level of urgency here? I don't mean urgency in terms of the offer, right? We're not talking about the offer. I mean, are we conveying here that there is a reason why they should engage with your marketing now, today? So let's look at an example and let's score it using these 4U's. So let's say we start off, let's say we are selling a book on how to get rid of weeds. And so, and we decide to go with the headline, Crazy Lawn Care Stories. Crazy Lawn Care Stories. So let's look at this. Is this useful? Well, not really, right? Because there's nothing useful about this to the prospect who, let's say, has weeds and is looking for a solution to get rid of those weeds. Is this unique? Not really. There's nothing, we're not saying crazy lawn care stories from ex-bartenders or something like that, right? Ultra specific? No, there's really nothing specific in here. What kind of lawn care stories? Why are they crazy? How many stories? And urgent? Is there any reason that we should engage with this right away or now, today? Well, no. So this headline, which I included here, gets really a big fat 0 if we were scoring this. Now let's look at another example. How to get rid of weeds. So here we've got how to get rid of weeds. So let's go back and do the scoring again. Is it useful? Well, yes. If we're talking to prospects that have a lawn, they own their own home and property, and they've got weeds and they're looking to get rid of those weeds, yes, that's useful. Is this unique? Well, no, there's nothing unique about this. This is the kind of thing that you could see an article about on any blog, on YouTube, etc. Is it ultra specific? No, there's nothing specific about it. We don't know what kind of weeds. We don't know how long it'll take to get rid of them, how to get rid of them, the mechanism, nothing. Urgent. Is there a reason to engage with this right now? No, there's nothing about time or speed or anything. So over here, we had a 0. Over here, we have a 1. The only U that this meets is useful. Now let's look at another example. Let's flesh this out a little bit. How to get rid of weeds with a can of soda. So is it useful? We know, we said yes because it's how to get rid of weeds. Is it unique? Yeah, it's unique, this whole idea of how to get rid of weeds with a can of soda. Is it ultra specific? Not really, because we're still how many weeds, the different types of weeds, how long does it take to get rid of them? So I would say no. And urgent. Is there any reason to engage with this now? I would say no. And so this headline now gets a 2. It gets a 2 because it's useful and unique, but it's not ultra specific and urgent. Let's look at another one. How to get rid of 127 different types of weeds with a can of Diet Coke. So now we know it's useful. We know it's unique. Can of Diet Coke, Is it ultra specific? Yeah, now we've got, it's certainly much more specific than it was. We've got 127 different types of weeds. We've got a can of not just soda, but a can of Diet Coke. So we've got more specific over here. So is it urgent? Is there any kind of thing pointing to time, to speed of results? No. So I would say that this gets a 3 on the score. And then finally, we've got this version. How to get rid of 127 different types of weeds with a can of Diet Coke in just 48 hours. Right? And we could probably change this wording around and play with this. How to get rid of 127 types of weeds in the next 48 hours using nothing but a can of Diet Coke. Right? But if you look at this, that's not the point. The point is that if you look at this, useful. Yes, it's useful. Is it unique? Yes, a can of Diet Coke just makes it unique, different. Right? Is it ultra specific? Yes, we've got 127 different types of weeds. We've got the can of Diet Coke. We've got in the period of time. And so it's ultra specific. And isn't urgent? Yes, because it's saying that in the next 48 hours, you can get rid of all of these weeds. And so what you're seeing here is you're seeing the difference from a 0 headline, Crazy Lawn Care Stories, to a 4, how to get rid of 127 different types of weeds with a can of Diet Coke in just 48 hours. Now, your goal when scoring your headlines is to land between a 3 and a 4. You don't always have to have a 4, but when you start to get into the 1s and 2s, that's an indication that you've really got a weaker headline. So there you go. You now want to go ahead and put together your headline, follow the exercise, the exercises that I laid out for you, and then continue on to the next training video.
So there you go, how Todd maps out how to create headlines, going from a basic headline and some templates for basic headlines and some variations that you can use that are taken from John Caples, to actually turning a basic headline into a home run headline using the 4 U's method. So super, super valuable, and it really is formulaic in the process that you can, as you're writing down some headline ideas, as you think you have some good hooks and you write down some headlines and you maybe start with the how to without X, how to X without Y or whatever the case is. But then as you start to go down the list and go down the process and add in the elements Todd talked about, like adding in those elements that allude to that new factor, that new and different way that people are looking for, like, announcing or or just released or the other examples that he shared, it allows you just to beef up your headline a little bit more. And then from there, when you actually apply the 4 U's to your headline, you can actually see crystal clearly whether or not your headline is something that has legs. Obviously, we always want to get it out into the marketplace and maybe do that headline test, that classified ad test like Todd talked about. But essentially, you can take the basic structure of a headline and you can beef it up and you can make it that much more compelling, that much more exciting, and that much more interesting to your prospects simply by applying a specific process to the headline. And that whole mentality, that whole thing about that whole idea of applying a formulaic process to all of your marketing, that doesn't just apply to your headlines. It does actually apply to all of your marketing, because essentially how Todd has mapped out the E5 campaign and the E5 method is this formulaic process for every single piece of your marketing campaign. I mean, it's not just your headline. It's absolutely everything from start to finish. And it's really a thing of beauty when we actually get to it. So we have Christoph Perskovsky. You're so glad that we opened up your live in a perfect time because I now test new headlines. Brilliant. That's great to hear. Thanks for letting me know, Christoph. And make sure you're early next time. Don't be late. So click that notification bell button or get notifications or subscribe for more or whatever Facebook has us saying these days. Make sure you click that so you'll get notifications of all future lives. We go live at 2 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday. Now, if what we've just talked about in terms of just your headline, If you would like to see how all of that process is put together, from not just your headline in a campaign, but the whole campaign from start to finish, in terms of how you actually go about, starting with your audience and finding out their needs, their desires, their wants, and breaking down all of that and doing that in what's called the examination stage, all the way through to an engineering stage, an evaluation stage, and really when you start to put together this process in a coherent, step-by-step, formulaic way, like I mentioned, it really just becomes a thing of beauty. You can take what you might feel is a general marketing skill that you might have, or maybe you don't feel like you have the marketing chops, but when you actually map out your marketing using the E5 method, you don't have to be an amazing copywriter, you don't have to be an amazing wordsmith, you don't have to be some guru at marketing, because essentially what you're doing is you're presenting your product, your service, your offer in a way that is unique and different, and demonstrates why you are unique and different. You're not just telling someone that you're unique and different. You're able to demonstrate why you can provide them the solution that they want in a new and unique and different way. And you don't just say that as a claim. You back up that claim, and then you back up that you prove that claim, and then you attach some benefit elements to that, and then you just repeat that cycle over and over again. They buy into what's called your unique mechanism, and from there, it's like a big domino. That's the big domino that falls, and everything else just falls into place. And then when it comes through making your offer, which is at the very end of this process, I mean, it's a no-brainer, because you've essentially educated them along the way on how they can uniquely get the result that they're looking for through you and you alone. That means through your marketing, you effectively eliminate your competition. Through a marketing campaign, you effectively eliminate your competition, because you've set up your marketing in a way that's uniquely positioning your ability to get your prospects the desired result in a new and different way, and in a way they can only get from you. I mean, that alone is just absolutely huge. And if that's something that you would like to be able to roll out, you can head on over to learnfromtodd.com and book a strategy session with one of our E5 strategists. They'll walk you through how we're helping our clients currently, and how they're actually able to get Todd's help, Todd Brown's personal help, in actually building out their very own E5 campaign that just works like whatever. And we have case studies coming out the wazoo. If you go to toddbrown.com/proof, you'll see full details of all of our case studies, and so on and so forth. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can head on over to learnfromtodd.com. Now, I want to close off today's show with how I actually opened up today's show. I know I said I wasn't going to show it again, but guys, this whole process has been Todd's life work, and we've been toying with the idea for so long to coming up with a way to get this E5 method into so many people's hands. And we feel that one of the best ways we can do that, at least from the starting point, obviously the best way to actually get this rolled out and get it working for your business is always going to be working with Todd closely, and working with Todd in terms of how he can help you actually do this over a certain period of time, over an 8-week to 10-week period. That's always going to be the way that you can actually get the best value in terms of that. But in terms of getting the E5 method into as many people's hands as possible, so it can actually help them think differently about their marketing, approach their marketing differently, and no longer have to resort to hype or exaggerated claims or obnoxious sales pitches or anything like that. We feel that our best way of actually delivering that to the marketplace is with the E5 method book. And like I said, the proof copy arrived this morning from FedEx, both the paperback version and the hardback version, and I am super, hopefully my camera will pick it up. There we go. Isn't that just a thing of beauty? That is just absolutely wonderful. I hope it'll actually, there we go, picking up me again. And this will be coming out very, very soon. So stay tuned. If you are a subscriber of the Todd Brown marketing page, brilliant, you will be getting notifications. If you are not, make sure you subscribe to both these lives and to the page. So when we do go live with this incredible life-changing book, you will be one of the first to get your hands on it. Some advanced PDF copies have gone out to some of our private clients, our top 1 coaching members, and our existing E5 students. And some of the feedback that we are already getting from those people who have already been through the process, are saying they're still getting ahas from what's inside the book. So you are It's shaping up to be something epic indeed. So from me, myself, John Mullery, and from Todd and from everybody else at MFA, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you join us the next week at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be diving into another specific part of your marketing that you can fine tune for more results. And more results mean your ability to make more money, to have a bigger impact, and to help more people. If that's what you want, if you want to do that with our help, you can head on over to learnfromtodd.com to book a call with one of our E5 strategists. And to close off, I will say one thing that you may look at sometimes when we have look at some of the examples of the headlines we shared, and you may say, well, my headline was like that, now my headline needs work, and how the hell am I going to get started with all of this? And look, Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't have to go overhauling everything all at once. Start with the big needle movers. Start with the things that's going to have the biggest impact. And if you're not sure what the biggest needle movers are in your business, by all means, head on over to learnfromtodd.com and book a strategy session with one of our E5 strategists, because we will be able to pinpoint exactly what is the needle mover in your business and show you how you can focus on it in a way that makes it spin like crazy. So thanks again for tuning into this week's show, and I will see you next week.
Yes, we teach marketing, but what we really do is change lives. That's the business we're really in. We just happen to do it through marketing education. Like, people ask me all the time, they say, well, why don't you just go out and sell some widget, man? And look, I can. There's no doubt. But what excites me more is to know that I get the good fortune. I'm blessed to just be able to give to other people what it is that I've learned and watch their lives change. Right? We communicate with real people every day, with real dreams, real families, real fears, real needs. Or when somebody posts a picture online of something that they just bought their spouse, a MacBook Pro, or even cars, or we see somebody that is moving into a new home, or maybe their first home that they've never owned before. And I just know, man, that we're changing lives. There's just something, man, about seeing other people soar that juices me up.